Hey guys, so today I'm coming to you today with opening salvo. We're going to be talking about what objective tokens to take, and in this case, opening salvo, when you should use it, when you shouldn't, and here we go. Alright, so opening salvo reads, setup. After deploying fleets, assign one objective token to each ship. Those are these. The special rule, the first time a ship performs an attack against another ship, discard the attacker's objective token. If the attacker belongs to the first player, he adds 2 red dice to the attack pool. If the attacker belongs to the second player, he adds 2 dice, each of any color, to the attack pool. At the end of the game, each player increases his final score by half of the fleet point cost of each enemy ship in the play area that has at least 1 damage card rounded up. So basically every ship's going to start out with one of these. Let's say we'll take a Corvette for example. We can either put it on the ship or on the ship card. I like putting it on the ships themselves because it makes it easier to look at the battlefield and see which ships still have it and which ships don't. This particular objective, you'll want to put this in your build if maybe you're running a lot of ships. If you're running 2 Star Destroyers, for example, you won't want this because basically you're going to get the least out of it. It tends to benefit heavy ship builds or lower squadron, therefore heavy ship builds. You can still have squadrons, maybe cheaper ships, but if you're running a couple of Moncals or a couple of ISDs, these aren't going to help you as much. So if you get chosen as the first player, when would you want to choose this from your opponents? Now, as first player, you're only going to get 2 red dice on each of your attacks. So basically, you're going to want something that's going to have red dice. If you're running a Nebulon with Salvation, that might be a good option because those red dice are extra powerful on that Nebulon. If you're running maybe the home 1 and still a good number of ships, I would say at least 4, then maybe because you're going to be able to take advantage of those extra dice with the home 1 title for all your nearby ships. If you're running anything that's basically going to take extra advantage of red dice.
It's also worth noting that when you're using opening salvo, you have to spend this on your first ship-to-ship attack. So if I'm flying, let's say Rebel versus Rebel here, I might want to keep my CR-90s at range 3 and then force you, well, if you want to attack him, you're only going to get your red dice, you're not going to get anything else. And then, you'll have to spend your token on a weaker attack, and I'm much more likely to survive, especially if I evade and cancel one of your dice. So don't rush right in against your opponent, and then before they've activated, and then give them the shot to hit you maybe with a side arc or front arc if it's an Imperial player with the extra dice. Especially if they're the second player and they're going to get you with their accuracy, their blue dice, and their black dice, because that's a surefire way to get you dead.
You might also want to choose opening salvo if your opponent is running very few ships or very heavily shielded ships. So if I get chosen as the first player, I look through your cards and I see opening salvo, and I notice that you have an ISD and 2 victories, or perhaps 2 MC80s, especially with a lot of upgrades. I might want to choose this because one of the special effects of this is that at least 1 damage card will give you half points on a ship. So, or maybe I have Luke Skywalker or a CR-90 with Dodonna's Pride. Now I have extra chances of getting damage on your ship and bypassing all of those shields. CR-90s also can be used to ram in the last round if you can keep them alive and still get half damage on those bigger ships. Now I'm running the risk of you having potentially 2 extra black dice. So if you're running ships with advanced concussion missiles or assault proton torpedoes, then maybe I don't want to choose this one because if you're going to be the second player, then you're going to be able to add black dice or maybe blue dice. So you can make the decision as the shot, but typically it's black dice. So that's some times that I might not want to use opening salvo. But definitely it's good if I have, if you have more ships than your opponent, you're going to get more out of it. If Salvation is a really good example, or if I've got things that can guarantee to put damage on the other ships. Assault proton torpedoes is a good one for your own build, Luke Skywalker is really good. Dodonna's Pride is really good. Or just having more ships in general. It's probably one of the simplest objective cards out there, but it's also one of my favorites, especially with running a lot of CR90As with Admiral Akbar. It's always a fun way to add even more red dice, even if I'm first player and this was your shot, I'm still adding a ton of red dice anyway, and I like to run the Home 1 expansion the Home 1 title on an MC80 as well. But I would never choose it if I had 2 MC80s or maybe 1 MC80 and 2 assault frigates and that was it. My rule is more than 3 ships to go with this one. So that's opening salvo. If there's any questions you guys have about it, let me know. Thanks for watching, and go ahead and like and subscribe and leave a comment and all that good stuff, and I appreciate it. Take care.